Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and this is actually my first long form video that I'm doing. So you'll have to let me know if you like it, and I'd love to make more in the future. So in today's video, I'm going to be attempting to improve my art as an intermediate artist because I feel like I'm in a weird position where my art isn't good enough to be professional, but it's also, I wouldn't say it's beginner level. Stay humble. So I'm doing a few art studies and I'm going to show the process of them and hopefully you can learn some things for yourself. Okay, so I'm starting off with doing some gesture drawings, which is one of my favorite things to do actually. Is what I started with because I felt quite, I guess, nervous getting into this because I don't do art studies very often, which is a bad habit of mine, but I actually enjoyed doing these. So I kind of start off just by mapping out the basic shapes I see. I try to do like a line of action, that's what they call it. You can see that here, and then I kind of just start off with weird shapes that kind of just grasp the basic, I guess, shape of it. And then I slowly refine more lines and try to add muscles, which I'm still learning. All of the muscles, because there's so many, but I think I'm getting there, and these definitely helped. So I recommend this. This website that I'm using is called Line of Action, and it's great because it will just show you a bunch of references, and also you can set like certain times, and there's, I think it's class mode, where you can make it so you start off like 30-second drawings and then it builds up to like 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. So what I'm doing here is I'm just doing 5-minute drawings each. I'm just trying to get the basic shapes and muscles down because that's what I really want to learn, like muscle groups and stuff like that. I'm definitely skipping some because some of them I'm just not confident enough yet to do, but maybe I'll get there one day. I've actually found it easier to try and, I guess, exaggerate what I see because a lot of the time I will try to draw what I see, but I end up just like not having as enough emphasis on certain poses. Like with this guy, his muscles are quite big around his chest area, so I really wanted to I guess emphasize that. And then this one here was one that I did for 10 minutes because I did a bunch of 5-minute ones. I wanted to see how I would do with a bit more time and less pressure. And I actually really like this one. I think I learned a lot, and here are all of my drawings together. Yahoo! Right, next we have a clothing study, which I was really putting off because clothes are something that I struggle with a lot. So I started off just by kind of mapping out the silhouette and shapes that I see. This is something I've been doing more recently. I will just get like a pen and just a color and just color block everything rather than sketching it, and I find it really helps just to focus on the shapes rather than all the sketchy stuff. So I kind of just started off by seeing and putting down all of the basic shadows that I saw, and I was like, I'll just refine this later. And then I went in with even more shadows and something called ambient occlusion, which is like where light just won't hit at all, and that definitely helped bring things together. So I know I was putting this off, but I did actually quite enjoy this. But this was the only study that I did of clothes because this took me, I think, about 40 minutes, and I was definitely done with it by that point. So I just kept looking at my reference and putting down more shadows and highlights and even like reflections and stuff. And it eventually came together, and I'm actually quite happy with the end product, which you will see soon. So as this was coming along, I was liking how it looked, but I wanted to add a bit more interest, so I started doing quick brush strokes in certain directions, and I have this like rake tool, which is basically just 6 lines all together, and I just quickly added those, and I think it added a bit of texture and interest, and I really like how it looked. Okay, this is my last study, although it technically is 3 studies, but I wanted to focus on environment stuff and like, I guess things that you just find in environment, so I did a rock, which is the one you're seeing now, and at this point I had I had downloaded a bunch of new brushes that I found on like the Clip Studio asset store and some that I found online. And I started off by just mapping out the basic shape, like the clothes, and then slowly adding more shadows and just making sure to observe my reference and try and get everything correct, which you don't always get correct the first time. I did a lot of adjusting and stuff, but it came together in the end. This one I did really like. It was quite fun to make, you know, doing all the little texture details and adding the 3D bits, so I'm quite happy with this. I just kept refining bits and I guess rendering, you could say, and adding smaller highlights, and I think those small highlights really helped a lot to give it definition and add some more shadows. And then here's me finding a bush reference, and I'm really picky, but yep, spoiler, that's what's next. I decided to do a bush because I think they're actually really fun to do, and I have these cool brushes, this like sort of leafy foliage one. So I once again started off just making a silhouette and then adding shadows, deeper shadows, and definitely taking advantage of texture brushes, which is something that I avoided for so long because I was like, oh, like that's cheating, blah blah blah, like I'm not gonna do that, but I did it anyway, and I love it, and I really like the way it looks. And like once you just add the shadows and highlights, it really comes together. Honestly, like it was easier than I thought. And then after that, I would just keep adding smaller shadows and little texture details. Oh, I even added a background because I'm just fancy, even better than the reference. Oh, and then I added some reflected light because that's really important and it adds so much. Just like a desaturated colour that you put on the opposite side of the highlighted area. Next, oh, here's me looking for clouds. This one I think is my favourite piece. I really enjoyed doing this. Once again, just blocking out the shapes. This one, I was making a full-on scene, it was beautiful. Clouds are something that I've struggled with for a while. It's a very difficult texture to achieve, I think. But honestly, I just started off with big shapes and keep refining. That's the biggest tip I can give. And definitely use references as well, because if I didn't use references, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. So this was very helpful. And I just added some subtle shadows as well. And definitely use the airbrush a lot. And the grass was quite fun to do because I was just copying the shapes that I saw and slowly adding texture. Definitely using my brushes again because they're so much fun to do. And like once you get in that sort of basic, I've said basic so many times, but once you get in the shadows and the highlights, you just keep refining and then adding details like the grass blades and just all this stuff, and it just comes together and it's so nice. I think if you download these brushes, anyone can do it really. It might take a bit of practice, but it wasn't too difficult. So I'm very proud of these and I like how they turn out. Okay, so here are all of my art studies that I did over the course of, I guess, a week. I was gonna do 7, but I got lazy. It definitely takes a lot of energy, but it was worth it. I'm really proud of these. And if you got to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I would love to make more videos like this, so please let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.